happened.
That's right. No, well, for a long time. And I remember you and I worked on a story about what the guard at Gitmo did a long time ago, right? The story that never was told. And, but, part of being an investigative journalist is looking for things that others missed, and I've been blessed to work at places that allow me to do that.
Well, there's scandal after scandal here, isn't there? I mean, the Uranium One scandal is a really, really big deal. The Fusion GPS,
right.
You've been involved in breaking all these stories, and now you have another one, and it is another incredible story. I read these things, and I wonder how Donald Trump ever got elected president of the United States. Lisa Bloom is the daughter of Gloria Allred. Lisa Bloom, did she seek out these two women? Or did they seek her out?
The first woman sought her out. Jill Hart sought her out after her story started to get scrutiny, and she wanted someone to defend her in the public square. And then Jill introduced her to the second woman, who was sort of an unwilling, didn't really want to come forward, didn't really have any animus against Donald Trump. In fact, liked Donald Trump. And early on, when Lisa Bloom's trying to help her tell the story, she actually instructs the woman, maybe you should get rid of your Facebook post supporting Donald Trump. It'll make your story more believable. She's like, I'm not changing that. And it became very insightful. So the first woman reached out to Bloom, then she connected it to the second woman. And as the election got closer and closer, the second woman watched these offers of money go up. First, it was $10,000 to her church, then $50,000 to her personal pocket, then $100,000 to her personal pocket, then $200,000 to her personal pocket. And then 3 days before the election, it got to $750,000. And when you're reading the text messages, it feels a little bit like a really bad game of Monty Hall. You're spinning the wheel and you have different doors, and each time you open the door, the dollar figure gets a little higher if you're willing to come out and make the accusation before the election.
Isn't it obvious then, based on what you just said and what you've written, that Lisa Bloom wasn't representing this woman to help this woman? Lisa Bloom was representing this woman to get her story out as close to the election as possible.
I've always tried to keep my opinions to myself and stick to the facts, but I'll tell you something in the text messages that I think answers that question, at least on behalf of the woman. The woman who actually was going through this negotiation with her at some point snapped, because Lisa Bloom said, we're out of time. And she said, why is there a deadline for this when it's about my wishes, right? Why is there a deadline? And are you just trying to do this to hurt Trump and to make a buck? And you see that text message out there. So the woman at least thought that was what was going on, and she snapped at Lisa Bloom and had that thing. And then there's another set of text messages where you can see Lisa Bloom very angry that the two women wouldn't go forward. There was a woman who was going to go forward on November 3rd, and she bailed out of the news conference. And later that night, Lisa Bloom texts a message saying, she wasted my time. Now, what lawyer trying to represent a person finds it a waste of time because the person made a decision against, that was in their best interest, right? And then later, the other woman who's now still contemplating but going back and forth, what does Lisa Bloom say to her? Stop jerking me around. And so you see this sort of pressure and this tug and this pull that I seldom see in the relationship between lawyers and clients. And, the text messages speak for themselves, and I'm sure people will come to their own conclusions.
In fact, Lisa Bloom flies across the country from California.
That's right.
To meet with this woman who's been in the hospital for a period of time, and the implication that I'm reading here is to really encourage her to come out and come forward as soon as possible.
Right. That's right.
Is that correct?
At a hotel. That's right. In fact, the day she was in the hospital, there was a friend with her, and that friend refused to put her on the phone because she knew that this woman was ill, and she said she's not well to talk right now, and if you care about her, just leave her alone until she's better. And Lisa Bloom then jumps on a plane, comes across the way, and as soon as the woman gets out of the hospital, they start communicating again, and then they set up the final meeting, the meeting at the hotel. And as the woman describes the meeting, it's a remarkable meeting, which is, what will it take to get you to come out? And they said, and now the offer's up to $750, and this is how it was structured according to the woman. If you I'll give you $350,000 now, and then if you go make the recording and make your allegations on tape, then you'll get the second $350,000. It's sort of structured like a business transaction. And that's how the woman describes it. And, people will draw whatever inferences they will from that, but that's the woman's official account. And
now the woman who is known, her last name is Hart.
That's right.
Was she broke?
Yes, and she said...
was she bankrupt?
I don't know that. I don't know anything.
But she was financially broke.
What she described to me is that she's a working person, and that some of her business as a cosmetic artist in New York went down after her allegations became public. And so, yes, she was hurting for money. And three things happened. First, Lisa Bloom sold a few of her photos for some money, got her a few $1,000s. Then they set up a GoFundMe.
Let's just stop there a second. So Lisa Bloom is selling photos of the accuser to the media. The media, in turn, is paying her money.
That's right.
She keeps a third of it, as I understand, a commission in some cases.
That's what the contract says, yeah. That's right.
That's the contract. She keeps a third, and the rest goes to her client.
That's right.
Okay.
So that's the first transaction with Lisa Hart. Then the second transaction on or around October 13th, about a month before the election, or before the month before the election's near, they set up a GoFundMe site. And basically, the GoFundMe site says, it's an online fundraising appeal, give money to Jill Hart, show her a little love because she's taken on Donald Trump.
Now, let me stop you there. So, as you write, Lisa Bloom's husband sends up that account, right?
Yeah, it's actually under his name, but Miss Bloom, Lisa Bloom acknowledged that she set it up. So the firm set it up. Her husband works at the firm. That's how it works.
Okay.
So, yep. Good
Third point?
Yep. Well, they make $2,300 there, and then somewhere after that, Lisa Bloom has a donor come forward and arranges to pay off the mortgage of Jill